Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasishtha, Utpatti Prakarana, section 10 continues. Sage Vasishtha gives a glimpse into all the teachings he is going to bring out in this voluminous work of Yoga Vasishtha. What they call it, cursory view. Some say call it like a bird view, bird's eye. It is Brahman who manifests in the three states of consciousness: waking, dream, and deep sleep. That statement is very profound. All that you experience in your deep sleep, the same you experience in your dream, and the same you experience in your waking state. Let me give you the mathematics about it. When you have a profound sleep and you wake up, people ask you, how are you? Say, I slept wonderfully. What else? I knew nothing. That's the experience of avidya, ignorance, in its healthy state. Without any distortion. Now, same avidya you are experiencing in your dream. In your dream, you have the experience awareness. There are many things that you know, many things are out of your knowledge, beyond knowledge. You are facing a world of known and unknown. But follow a mathematical process. Everything that you know, you don't know all about it. So what you know is X. What you don't know is Y. And that Y is in every experience. Same applies in the waking state. Everything you know is surrounded by, enfolded by what you don't know. I know mango plus Y. I know jackfruit, Y. I know Florida, I know Alaska, but why is all over. What you find, there is one thing is invariable, and another aspect is all variables. Variables negate them because they don't exist. Invariable, I don't know. That's with every experience, the invariable experiences, I don't know. I know this is something, but I don't know all. What type of wood, where did it come from, how long is going to live. So, lot of unknown. And also, if you are wise enough, it is not within your capacity to have all the knowledge. So, all the time you are experiencing ignorance. But ignorance has turned foxy. It displays itself in many ways, making you believe that you are knowing so many things, but you are not knowing anything. In sleep, it was a simple matter. But now, in dream, you are knowing things. Again, the dream and waking have a little variation. Dream is little immature. Karmas that are not so defined, those karmas operate through your dream experience. So, when you wake up and evaluate your dream, you describe your experiences in dream were so quick, shifty, but in waking state, look, it stays for years. First thing to understand, you are deluding yourself. Even in your dream, you don't have the idea that it is fleeting. While you are dreaming, dream seems quite good. But speaking from another angle, yes, compare it, dream and waking. The waking is nothing but the same dream now becoming just like an artist creating a painting. First, create some little sketch. And then it starts using different brushes, different inks, bring the reality, make it develop into something. Dream gives you some sketches. Waking brings out, elaborates it. But behind all that, one big fox, ignorance. All that you are doing behind all that, ignorance is the fact. You really don't know. You don't know about your body. You don't know about anything. You don't know about history. You don't know about the world. You don't know how many stars are there. That I don't know, that aspect called avidya. That avidya, ignorance, that's the target for spiritual enlightenment. That I don't know has to be cut down. Pure knowledge has to manifest. Because even the idea I don't know implies that there is knowledge. Allowing that knowledge to shine forth, unrestricted. That knowledge is pure Chit, Chaitanya, consciousness, Brahman. So it is Brahman who manifests in the three states of consciousness, waking, dream, and deep sleep. At the same time, however, he ever abides in his transcendental glory. You can see illumination of the sun in so many stages, in so many forms. And those illuminations go on changing every moment. But while all this goes on, the reality is sun is where it is, unshaken. This again is allegorical. Similarly, pure consciousness, the all-knowing self, absolute knowledge, that remains unshaken, ever the same, described as Brahman, Advaita, non-dual. That Brahman alone exists. Now, in a very allegorical way, the scripture goes on describing. However, he ever abides in his transcendental glory, just as mighty waves exist in a latent form in a quiet ocean. We're looking at the ocean. And at another time, ocean that is very quiet. Another time, you may be looking at so many waves, you forgot all about the ocean. But you may do that, but ocean is not the same. It is from the fullness of Brahman that the soul arises with apparent limitations. Sun is full. Reflected sun has come from the same sun in a jar of water. And looking at the reflected sun, you find it is so miserable. Every little moment can disturb it. But never forget the truth. Reflected sun doesn't have any reality. Sun is the reality behind the reflected sun. What you think of yourself is divine self reflecting in the waters of your mind. What you understand yourself is how your mind interprets who you are. And mind's interpretation depends upon your brain and nervous system. And that's not real. This advanced technology. No matter how advanced the technology. Today, people have iPhones, and they're sparked up how advanced. 20, 30 years later, there'll be more advancement. And people say how stupid they were. They didn't know that. Same predicament is in relation to your nervous system. The soul is using an iPhone, your mind-body complex, a network of nerves. And by karmic process, the soul modifies the nervous system. The experiences go on changing. But end result, all that you experience through your mind, through your nervous system, all that is Brahman, the Absolute. From ego's point of view, all that you are experiencing comes in the realm of ignorance, avidya. Ego says, I know this. But ego in itself doesn't exist. Its knowledge doesn't matter whose knowledge. The reality that is pure consciousness, that remains unaltered, unchanged. And that turns your attention to all the Upanishads start with peace chant. And one of the famous peace chant, Purnamadaha Purnamidam, that's full. All that has proceeded from that full is basically full. In other words, sun being the reality. All that proceeds from the sun are rainbows, different types of illuminations, shimmering lights, reflected suns. Since they have no existence of themselves, they are simply appearances. So all that proceeded from the full is full. How can full bring about something unfull? Can't be so foolish. So no matter how terrible is your dream, you are full. You have wonderful covers over you, pillow behind your neck. A bed is supporting you. No matter how all those dreams came out of your own bed. But while the dream went on, you were on your own bed. Nothing happened. But this has to be assimilated in a profound way. It requires now your spiritual advancement. It's not changing the angle of your intellect. The fox can become very alert. No matter which way the ears perk, its experience will be foxy. The idea is, if you try to understand Brahman in the same way as you understand potatoes, tomatoes, like an object, that understanding will be neither here nor there. At least you can cook tomatoes and potatoes. When the mirror is removed, there is no reflection. In the same way, when the mind is removed, there is a cessation of the reflected self and the realization of the Supreme Self. Let me give you a repeated picture of the role of mind. Mind plays the role of mirror. And you are always not seeing yourself, but how you are being interpreted by the mirror of your mind. This is good news. The same mirror can enable you to understand who you are if it is free of 3 defects. Your mirror is clean. That's called mala. The mirror is full of dust. You can't figure out how do you look. Second point, if you remove the layer of dust, the hand that holds the mirror, if it is shaky mirror, that's another second type of obstacle called vikshepa. As long as mind doesn't have concentration, one-pointedness, serenity, if that quality is not there in your mind, then in each achievement, your mind begins to dream, now I'm coming to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I must announce it. I must go viral. I'm joking. So distraction mala is removed by karma yoga, allowing your energy to flow in such a way that you create good impressions for yourself and allow people around you to be served. You serve God in people. I'm giving a very broad picture. Karma yoga, that goes on removing mala, gross impurity. Bhakti and dhyana, devotion and meditation. Single word is upasana. That allows your mind not to be shaken. No matter how things happen, allow your mind to be serene, not to be shaken. But human mind is always accustomed to anything negative, the mind hunches down, head hunches down in one way. Positive, hunches up another way. Allowing the mind to be serene, that becomes a great quality. Looking at events and situations in a more mature way. They are there, evaluate them, learn lesson from them, go ahead. But don't stay. You are walking through the road and you pinched by a thorn. Now don't start counting all the thorns. On the other hand, you are going there and you are suddenly surprised by the beauty of a beautiful lotus or a beautiful rose. And then you stop your journey and start counting how many roses are there. I'm trying to give you a different way. Both are errors. Neither the thorn should stop you, nor the rose should stop. Your movement should be towards your goal. Adversity and prosperity, they are all shifting, transient situations. Develop a type of mind that becomes enriched by both. In divine plan, both have a purpose. And that you can see from the very beginning of your life. Children learn by their falls. So then, I was talking about the Vikshepa. The Vikshepa corrected. Third one, allegorically I described, suppose your hair comes down your eyes. So everything is correct. Mirror is clean, hand that holds the mirror is steady. But avidya, ignorance, doesn't allow you to see your face. But that ignorance is not a big problem. Just requires a little shake of a head. And that's called realization. That happens automatically, sahaj. And finally, you have seen your face. Once you have seen your face, I'm talking about the Divine Beauty House. You don't need the mirror anymore. In the worldly beauty house, you need more and more, day by day. The divine, once you see the face, all things are effaced. All projections that create cinema show are effaced. The face is the screen. It is the soul, the jiva, that sustains the concept of size, shape, time, space, causation. The self is absolutely untouched. simple way. Reflected sun, from the point of view of the reflected sun, there are many descriptions. What type of pot you are in, what type of shaky situation the water has created, and many things. But from the point of view of the reality of the soul, which is the sun, there is no pots, no water, nothing to condition it. It's absolutely free. To understand the 2 points, one is a relative point of view. Soul works in a relative way. A world of time, space. The moment you begin to study your soul, your mind turns to karma. Karma gives you a picture of repeated embodiments. Repeated embodiments stretches your mind in time, how many embodiments you have gone through. Who were you 3 embodiments back? One day business will start. You have to pay for it. To know who you were. Give some sample. And they will tell you who were you in your past life and before past life. And how can you contact the grandchildren of your previous life who are living close to you? So the soul works in that level. But this is the story of the soul. The self, sun, has no story to tell. It's beyond www. Where, why, when, all this don't apply to the sun. And that is your goal. As a soul, you are not whole. As the individual soul, you are not whole. As the absolute self, you are whole, full. So if the mind is constantly involved with sustaining your individuality, it is fundamentally a foolish project. How long can you hold on to a falsehood? That self is subtler than an atom, purer than the clear blue sky. Now, in order to educate your mind and lead the mind on, these are figurative descriptions. If you want to evaluate what is that soul, now that soul is subtler than the subtlest you can imagine. What is subtlest? Say, oh, that's what my science book says. The atoms. And go further into it, electrons. Now the Rishi sage says, but the self is subtler than that. Believe it or not. First, allow your mind to have all its concepts. Put them all, put all the ducks in a row. And then unduck them. Purer than the clear blue sky. This cannot be limited by time, space, and causation. There is neither beginning, nor middle, nor end. So allow to understand the mind thinks of objects. Every object has a beginning, middle, and end. You worship God. In the beginning, you use the God as a symbol, as a support, as Sagun Sakar. But understand, you are using it only as a symbolic support. God is not exactly that. So therefore, in your upasana, you move first step, Sagun Sakar, God having form and spiritual virtues, divine qualities. As your mind advances, form is not important. All the divine qualities, compassion, remover of all adversities, giving profound security, and so forth. All those divine qualities become more highlighted than the body of the picture of the deity. If you go further, your mind begins to recognize that no matter whatever concept you adopt about God, the best of language, God is Satchidananda, and you can well pronounce it. Even within your quiet mind, you can buzz those words, Satchidananda. Try to understand. I'm not discouraging you, but showing the limitation. It's wonderful to do that, and it is positive. If you do mantra, do same thing. But to understand that since you have brought those words in your mind and in your understanding, and thereby you understand Brahman, you are far from the reality. Brahman is not. How you understand about Satchit Ananda? Even the best imagination about happiness falls short, terribly short, of what Brahman's joy is. So therefore, the problem is resolved in allowing your mind to flow into samadhi. Instead of a river wave watching at the ocean and adopting imagination, how will it be if I am in the ocean? No matter how wonderful imagination, it's not the same reality as the river enters the ocean. So enter the ocean. Don't stay meditating upon how wonderful it will be. The pure self exists without the functions of intellect, mind, senses, and subtle desires. It is unaffected by the illusions of birth and death. During Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the same as what we talk about Pratyaya Bhav, Nirodha Samadhi. In other words, you remember, I'm describing all experiences are through mental projections. Projection-based experiences versus projection deleted. When the whole projection process is removed, the experience where projections are not involved, that state is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is called pratyaya bhav, absence of projections. That is the goal of life. Not staying with mind and its projections, completely moving away. While describing it, it again gives you a picture. Somehow mind is there and you are waiting for the mind to move away. But that is not so. To recognize that the sun is the reality behind all these illuminations. You don't have to wait until all illuminations move away. All that you do is understand. A profound understanding eliminates, you understand that what you are seeing as shimmering water is mirage. Once you understand it, enjoy the water. Just don't drink from it. Look at the sky, looks velvety blue. Enjoy it, but don't think that will go up and your head will touch the velvety floor. So this again is a subtle point that so many aspirants become deluded. When will be the time will I become nirvikalpa samadhi? And what will I do with my relatives and friends? During nirvikalpa samadhi, the world does not exist. With this, there is cessation of the triad. Triad is called Triputi. In Puranic scriptures, it's Triputi that becomes Tripurasur, the demon called Tripura that was destroyed by Lord Shiva. The triad described in the terms of seer, seen, and sight. Seer, drashta, subject. Seen, drishya, all the field of experience before you. Sight is what you are experiencing. The subject in you interacting with the world through mind and senses. And whatever you are experiencing is your seen, rather your sight. Your experience is within the view of your eyes, that was sight. All the three are illusory. The same are described as jnata, jnaya, and jnana. Jnata means knower. In your dream, you are the knower of so many things of your dream experience. And then the dream world is the field of knowledge called known. What is to be known by you, the whole field. And what you are knowing is your actual experience, knowledge. I'm just trying to explain these terminologies. Drashta, drishya, and darshan. Seer, seen, and sight. Understand, even every experience of yours in the world is called darshan. You are looking at a candle flame. You are having the darshan of the flame. So darshan term people use in a very advanced way for having darshan of God. But understand, in practical day-to-day life, the same word is used with relation to all little things. So drashta, drishya, and darshan, one set of triad. Same is described as jnata, jnaya, and jnana. All these three do not exist. And it will be easier for you to understand if you simply focus on your dream experience. All the three are there in your dream. You are dream subject, you have the dream world, and you have dream experiences. Wake up, none of the three has any validity. Same applies in this big world. And therefore, scriptures use the term dirgha swapna. This day-to-day world is called long dream. I prolong the word, announcing it long. But it's all allegorical. The jiva consciousness that exists during the absence of nirvikalpa samadhi, as long as you have not attained nirvikalpa samadhi, that's called pratyaya bhav. As long as the projections have not been transcended, the drama is not over. So long you remain a jiva, an individual soul. But when all projections move away or you transcend them, then you are no longer a jiva. You are Shiva, God the Absolute. And don't create in your mind a big problem. How can I, a jiva, become a Shiva? You have become a jiva like desert has become a mirage. Like vastness of space has become the blue sky. So it is not something that has happened in a concrete way. It's an appearance, it is an illusion. And you are going to break that illusion. That's the whole spiritual project. When the illusions of objectivity are removed from the perceiving chitta, mind, then the objectified consciousness in the form of the world process becomes resolved into pure consciousness. Chitta, devoid of the triad of seer, seen, and sight, becomes chit. Chit is pure consciousness. Chitta becomes chit. Jiva becomes Shiva. That which illumines the three bodies and the five sheaths is Brahman. He abides in the innermost depths of all beings and objects. God is the innermost reality within every heart. Put your mind to another level. God is the innermost reality behind everything, behind that candle flame, behind this book, behind all objects. I can't count them. Behind spiders, spider webs, all things that you can see as things, they are indwelt by God, interpenetrated by God. All waves are interpenetrated by the ocean. All luminosities are interpenetrated by the sun. So we can use various ways of looking at it. And all this called swadhyaya, it inspires you. But if your inspiration stops by simply understanding intellectually, then that's not real spiritual growth. Therefore, it has to be in satsanga environment, a life dedicated to seva, integral yoga. Then whatever you understand, it goes on creating a tremendous change. And changes occur in a delightful manner. When a tree grows, it doesn't calculate how can I get nutrition for my branches. What is photosynthesis? All that happens automatically, joyous. You don't have to work for what is Paravairagya? Have I come to Pratyaya Bhav? When will it happen that? That type of a stress should not enter in a spiritual movement. When the illusion of the world process is removed by the realization of the self, Brahman shines forth in his essential glory. Pure consciousness, pure existence, absolute knowledge, infinite bliss. All these again are terminologies that can best describe Brahman. Satchidananda, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman is truth, all knowledge, infinite. And all this sums up into your Ishta mantra. Whatever Ishta mantra you have, Rama, Shiva, Krishna, whomsoever, all these attributes of Brahman begin to emerge out of that Ishta Devata as your mind goes on assimilating them. With this I am concluding. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.